Fourth take. No uhs and ums is the goal. I'm probably going to fuck it up, but here we go. SB 26004 was introduced by Tom Sullivan and Meg, I don't know how to say that. Expand list of petitioners for protection order. So they want to expand the ERPOs, which is the extreme risk protection orders, or the red flag laws, firearm confiscation laws. What they aim to do is to add healthcare employees, mental health care professionals, and K through 12 schools and institutions of higher education into being able to petition the courts for the extreme risk protection orders. What does that mean in layman's terms? That means they are asking the state for teachers to be able to petition to take your firearms if your kid says something. You know, like your kid goes to the school counselor, says something because they're dealing with some struggles, and next thing you know, the state's going to be knocking at your door trying to take your firearms away. So this is a pretty major concern. But who was it introduced by? This guy, Tom Sullivan. He is one of the largest pushers of gun control in the state of Colorado. His son died in the Aurora movie theater shooting. So, Mr. Tom Sullivan, I was at a theater that night. It wasn't the Aurora theater, but it was supposed to be. We went to a neighboring theater to watch that Batman movie that same night the shooting happened. When I got out of the theater, I had a lot of missed calls and text messages. As you can imagine, it was a pretty jarring situation for everybody involved. The difference between me and you, Mr. Sullivan, is I come to a different conclusion on how to fix this and how to prevent things like this. The conclusion I come to is more guns, more concealed carriers, and more people that have training and the ability to use a firearm in self-defense situations. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you very clearly why. Because if we had a dozen of concealed carry holders and practitioners in that theater when James Holmes walked in, your son might be alive today. But no amount of laws you make taking away the rights of citizens will ever bring your son back. That's the truth. It's a harsh truth, but it's the truth. And you can enjoy your power and money and whatever, perks that comes with. But I'm going to enjoy my firearms one way or another. We'll go ahead and listen to Mr. Escalante here discuss the very clear double standard in the court that should be fixed. It's discrimination, ideological discrimination from those in power.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just finished testifying against Senate Bill 004, red flag expansion. I have a wild story for you. So I am here and I walk into the committee room, and many of you who know me and know folks associated with RMGO or the National Association for Gun Rights, you guys know that we wear these pins everywhere we go. Anytime we're wearing a suit, anytime there's a formal event, we're showing up to the Capitol, anything of the sort. Well, I walk in to the committee room and I'm told by the Sergeant at Arms, you can't take this in. You have to take the pin off. You got to take it off. It's not allowed. Mind you, I've been consistently since 2024, January 2024, I've been consistently coming to the Capitol on a regular basis, testifying, and I've been wearing this lapel pin. Well, apparently, you can't wear this anymore. Meanwhile, the anti-gun activists, they were all wearing their pins and ribbons and all that kind of garbage, and I can't do this. I do not have the right to free speech. They even told another gentleman on my panel he had to take his American flag pin off. So now, the General Assembly doesn't give a flying rip about your Second Amendment. They also hate your First Amendment too, especially if you're a conservative. And I'm walking out. I want you guys to see this. I'm walking out, and lo and behold, in one of the office buildings, we have this. We have a sign from Giffords, and we have a sign from Colorado Ceasefire. So the double standard here is insane. It really doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. But it's important that you guys know what these people do and how they act when they're in power. Thank you guys for your support. We're going to keep fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that the Democrats have double standards. I mean, you have, the Democrats in Virginia just ran on an affordability platform, and immediately the second legislative session starts, they open up and introduce a bunch of new taxes. It's consistent. That's their playbook, is saying one thing and doing another, whether you like it or not. Now we're going to look at Senate Bill 26-043, Record Keeping and Regulation of Sale of Firearm Barrel. So introduced by same people and also Kyle Brown. Well, what does this aim to do? This aims to regulate firearm barrels like firearm receivers. So it would create paperwork that the Colorado FFLs would have to fill out for every single firearm barrel. I imagine that means barrels would have to be serialized. This would be a significant impact on the firearm industry as a whole. Also, it would be a significant impact on the rights of Coloradans. This is, from a legal standpoint, it doesn't even make sense. I mean, the fact that it just shows they want to make it to where they have a complete registration of firearms owned in the state or in the country, which is unconstitutional, it's illegal, and you'll never have a registration of all the guns. I'll give you a couple reasons why. First of all, we have guns that are old enough, they don't have serial numbers. And you'll never know where those guns are and who has them. Because unless somebody wants to get it serialized and legally transfer it, there's no legal method of transfer except through heritage with those firearms, without serializing them. And many people would say serializing a historic piece of historic firearm like that would be, defacing it, and it would lose its value. So I completely agree with them on that. So either black market sales or keep it in the family are the only two options you have when it comes to those firearms. And then there's the issue of 3D printed firearms. I'm a big proponent of 3D printed firearms. They help fight a civil war overseas. We see them being fielded constantly by groups overseas fighting against tyrannical governments, and they're going to only get better and more prevalent, and you're not going to be able to stop the rise of them. But the truth of the matter is people are extremely inventive, and no amount of paperwork or legislation you pass will prevent people from building their own firearms, which is a constitutionally protected right under the Second Amendment. Even you making it illegal for somebody to 3D print firearms, all that does is give somebody an opportunity to be arrested for a 3D printed firearm and take that decision all the way to the Supreme Court. That's all it does. And maybe that's what's necessary. Maybe Colorado and California, Illinois, and all these states where, let's be honest, they have some of the stricter gun control in the country. They also have some of the worst firearm-related crimes in the country. Illinois, Chicago, and it's extremely hard to get a gun in Chicago, and gun violence is extremely, we call it Chirac. because it's so bad there. So maybe these policies aren't working and haven't worked and won't work. Just my 2 cents. Plus, you kind of did swear an oath and to the Constitution when you got into office, and especially Tom Sullivan, the fact that everything they do is a violation of that oath. I mean, what are we at? 30-something% tax on our income? I mean, at what point are gallows acceptable, right? I don't know. I'm not advocating for political violence. I am just advocating for these Democrats to stop trying to take every God-given right away from the American citizens while they get rich off their backs and import voters, because the American people are largely done with the Democrat Party. That's why they're fighting so hard to keep all these illegals in the country. They know that that's their voting base now. It's funny because a lot of these people that, took an oath to the Constitution, they hate the Constitution. They hate that God gave man the ability to speak. They hate that God gave man the ability to defend himself. They hate that. They hate it so much that they actively try to, with a pen, take it away. They try to take away what was fought for and blood was spilt over. With a pen, that's how they get their blood spilled. History shows it time and time again. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just explaining where it comes from. Marvin Haymeyer, he's an American hero. Gary Plausch, American hero. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.